Hey everybody, welcome to the show that doesn't like to get bit of honeys in their trick-or-treat bag. That's right, it's 5 minutes, we won't get back. A little show we waste 5 minutes of your time. But just remember, the 5 minutes doesn't start until we say it does. I'm Brian.
I'm Heather.
And welcome to the spooky zone. Pretty lame? Yeah. Anyway, today I'm sharing a little bit of Did You Know? A little Halloween fact before Halloween hits. Stephen Clark holds the record for the world's fastest pumpkin carving time. He carved a pumpkin in 24.03 seconds. His previous record was 54.72, so he cut it down by 50%. And the pumpkin has to weigh less than 24 pounds and be carved in the traditional way. No super fancy, just the eyes, nose, and mouth. But 24 seconds.
And could you tell, like, is there a picture of the pumpkin?
I didn't pull up a picture, no. But dang, 24 seconds, it takes me like hours just to gut the thing. Anyway, so today, it's Halloween week. So we're going to share, actually, Heather's going to share a spooky true story. So we might go a little longer than 5 minutes because it's a true spooky story. And I will stop with the spooky hand gestures. And I'm going to hand it over to Heather.
Yeah, so you can hear me ramble. I'll try to make this fast, but we're gonna go long. I'm setting the timer by, see, you forgot I gotta set the timer.
Oh, yeah.
For 8 minutes, just so like we don't talk your ear off all night and spend all night, but we're gonna go over 5 minutes. Maybe we won't. Maybe I make this really fast, you can keep up and it'll be it. But, okay, you ready? Are you ready?
Oh, I'm ready.
I think I lived in a haunted house. Yeah, so anyway, okay, so here we go. All right, my mom, she is retired now, but she was a nursing home administrator. So one of the places that she worked at, it was called Upland's Home for Church Women. And it was in Baltimore. You can look it up, Upland's Home for Church Women, right? And so what it was it was this mansion that this woman, her name was Mary Jacob Fritz, something like that. She had like 4 names. It was hard to keep up. But anyway, I still remember she had this really big picture and it was like hanging over the fireplace as soon as you walked into the place. But anyway,
it had turned when she
so like I think the house was built somewhere maybe like in the 1860s. I think it was renovated in like 1885 or somewhere in the 1880s. So basically somewhere between, I don't know, 1850 and 1880, the house was built, right? And it was this big, huge house. She married into like people with the B&O Railroad or something. So she was a socialite. And so this was like one of like, I don't know, 2 or 4 homes. They spent winters or summers in Baltimore in this house, right? So when she died, sorry, I was hitting the tape, making things shake. So anyway, so when she died, what she did was she left it to a particular church, and it was supposed to be for women who didn't have any family and couldn't live on their own. So it was, it was supposed to be a place for women to go live when they got to retirement age and couldn't live on their own. So anyway, so my mom, hence there she is now, nursing home administrator. Okay, so I think we were there between like 1984 to 6-ish. I think we were there for about 2 years. I was pretty young. I was like maybe 7, 8.
So what was the scary stuff?
I don't know. I just think I was very convinced at the time that we lived there that it was haunted. So we lived on the 2nd floor. So we lived over the place where like the ladies would live and like, well, not where they lived, but where they would eat and everything. And like I had her bedroom. So like the 1st floor originally was built to entertain because she was a socialite, right? And then the 2nd floor is where her and her husband lived. And then the 3rd floor was where the servants, that's where the servants lived. And they had like a whole bunch of servants, and the house was built in such a way that there was all these weird secret passages and stuff to where you could like, so the servants, when they had parties, they could like get from the 3rd floor to the 1st floor and they could get up and down and all around and wherever they needed to be without ever being seen. So you had all these like weird passages and everything. And anyway, I don't know. I know I was too scared to ever go on the 3rd floor. At the time that we lived there, it was used for a lot of storage. Being under it, we were always hearing things coming from the 3rd floor. So I was like terrified. I'd never go up there. I know my dad did. Like some of the things I think that we could hear could be explained, you know, just because it's an old house and there's a lot of stuff and I don't know, I don't know. My dad did a good job of explaining some of it, but maybe on the second floor, I know my sisters would come visit. They would use bricks to hold the doors open to the bedroom that they would sleep in, and then like the doors would get closed, things would get moved around. I think they've both told stories about like shoes and things being moved. When my grandparents would come and sleep in that same room, they would always hear things. They would wake up in the morning and they would talk about, what were all those dolls? Like, it was just weird stuff. They would hear things and no one could ever figure out or explain why. And then I think I had, if I recall correctly, I had her, like the lady that owned the house, I had her bedroom. And I don't know, it was weird. I know I would hear things, like I heard voices. I would hear things sometimes, but I guess I was just at the time I was very, very convinced that there was a woman ghost there. Now, my brother, who was younger than me, he would have been probably like 4 or 5 years old. He doesn't remember anything. He just remembers like me saying it was haunted, but I don't think he doesn't have any like stories, but he was younger, so I don't know. It's abandoned and you can look it up. Like I said, there's lots of abandoned videos on it. It's kind of weird because it's really, really run down and there's a lot of, it's not pretty. It's not at all pretty, and
there's videos on YouTube, people walking through it. There's drone footage recently posted online about the house.
The most recent footage I think I saw was actually March of 2020, so it's still there. I thought it was torn down, but I actually think that it could possibly, and I'm not sure about this, but it could be like a historical piece of property that maybe they can't get rid of. I mean, you know, anyway, but it's in Baltimore, and it's kind of weird because, you know, you watch the videos and like, I'm sitting there, I'm like, Brian, that was my bedroom. That was my parents' room. That was my brother's room. That was the kitchen and that whole weird section that I never really liked going in. But yeah, it's weird because it's still like, it like I watched them and it feels creepy.
Well, now it's deserted. It looks really creepy.
Yeah. So, it's pretty weird. So anyway, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it was just all the imagination.
Doors closed. Shoes moved.
Things would definitely get moved. And I like I said, there were times where I know I heard whispering. I remember a couple of times.
They were whispering, give me a burrito. I want a burrito.
Very clearly hearing very specific things. I don't think it was a malicious, that was my dad's thing. It's not a malicious ghost. It's a protective ghost.
It wants a burrito.
Yeah, but it was weird. It was weird. So, yeah. So there you go. I lived in a haunted house and heard voices.
And there's your scary story for this, well, a true living in a haunted house thing. But yeah, check it out on YouTube.
Yeah. It's called Uplands. If you Google it, Uplands Home for Church Women in Baltimore, Maryland. And it's a thing. So, and I'm sure one of my sisters will probably comment. My brother may or may not. My mom probably won't. But anyway.
But yeah. And so yeah, that's it. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
maybe next week. We didn't have enough time to share my scary story, which really isn't a scary story. We'll share that next week because it's pretty lame. And it's not scary at all. But it includes my friends, and it's stupid. So, hopefully you get some candy this week. Whatever you're doing, be safe out there, kiddies. That was my maniacal laugh. Anyway, that's all we got.
Yeah.
I'm Brian.
I'm Heather.
And just remember, it isn't a great day until we wasted 5 minutes of your time. What